Rotarians.
Hi, Jim.
Wow, what a stirring response there on this beautiful sunny day. Good afternoon, Rotarians. Thank you. Welcome to the October 23rd meeting of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. I'm your president, Tim Lilwitz. We did not have a greeter today, so a reminder, if you want to either greet or be the moment of inspiration, as we will get to here in a second, please sign up at either the table out in the lobby or online. Being a greeter is a great idea for newer members to make sure they can put names and faces of everyone in our club. So please keep that in mind. Thank you to Patty Quinlisk, I always butcher that, sorry Patty, for signing up for our moment of inspiration, and she'll come up and lead us in that, the Pledge of Allegiance and the four-way test. Okay?
Good afternoon. Today's inspiration comes from the fact that it's getting colder out and the leaves are falling and they're turning. So today I'm going to talk about and suggest that you all do something that's called nature bathing or forest bathing. And by the way, this has nothing to do with taking your clothes off and running through the forest. What it is about is basically going into nature and immersing yourself in the natural environment. And you do that with all of your senses. So you look at the sun coming through the leaves, you hear the rustling of the leaves, maybe smell the wood fires and things like that that are going on. And enjoy the fact that if you are in some place where there's lots and lots of plants, that the oxygen level is higher, which is good for your brain. So what are the health benefits of nature bathing? According to the Cleveland Clinic, it reduces stress, lowers your blood pressure and your heart rate, reduces depression and anxiety, improves your immune system, and improves your mood. According to the National Institutes of Health, nature bathing improves your sleep, your stress management, increases the anti-cancer cells in your body, and reduces anger, confusion, and fatigue. So lots of benefits. So I would just suggest that while the weather still cooperates, you go out and take a walk in the woods or in a park, whatever's near you, and then if the weather starts getting less pleasant, which we know it will, that you go to the botanical garden and do your nature bathing there, but do remember to keep your clothes on.
And your shoes.
And your shoes. So, will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the forward has disappeared.
Oh, it's right here.
It's, okay, first, is it the
Truth, is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
No? Reach.
Yeah. See ya. Official hello. How you doing, Richard?
See you. Well done. Somebody leaned over and said, "Did you write that?" It's like, "No, how you doing, sir?" Good. You're not going to get
Yeah.
All right. We do have a number of guests with us here today, so as is tradition, I'll call our guests and introduce them. Please, guests, stand up and remain standing while I call everyone's name, and then we'll greet you all together. First, we have Megan Cruz from Edmonds Elementary School, case manager, and a guest of Colleen Rogers Messenger, and we'll hear from them in a moment. We have Steve Beaver, Director of Development of the Greater Des Moines Botanical Garden. We have Syria Young, the mother of our own Will Brown, back there in the back. I told Syria before this, or I told Will, it was risky bringing your mother to this group. I'm not sure I would do that. But we also have Rick Trower, Senior Project Manager and shareholder at Newman Brothers. Maybe Rick didn't make it today. And then finally we have Proctor Lurman, well known to this club as the CEO of Broadlawns and also a board member of the Des Moines Botanical Garden. So, guest of Angela, happy to have you here. Thanks for coming. All right, now we will have, as I teased, a message from Colleen Rogers Messenger and our guest Megan Cruz.
This thing works? All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so pleased to have Megan Cruz, who I now call my friend, and she is the Success Case Manager at Edmonds Elementary. And as you know, we each year we come together and Megan helps share a story of impact about our special partnership with the students and families at our school. So to begin, Megan, will you tell us a little bit more about what being a Success Case Manager means?
Sure. So I am in my 13th year at Edmonds Elementary. I have been with Des Moines Public Schools for 18. And so my official title, as Colleen said, is Success Case Manager, but I really am I function as a general education social worker. So I serve all of our 300 students, regardless of any other any needs that they have. I'm that go-to person. So just working as a liaison between our school and families and the community. So I'm really trying to make all those parties intersect and have conversations and bring things to the table and coming to events like this.
Fantastic. Tell us a little bit about the diversity at Edmonds.
Oh, sure. Well, if you're not familiar, we're located not too far away. It's just about a 5-minute drive. So over on 15th Street near a Methodist hospital. We are directly across from the homes of Oak Ridge, which is the largest federal housing project in the state of Iowa. And so we get about 50% of our population comes directly across the street. So we truly are a neighborhood school. We don't bus in many students like other schools do. We do have some buses, those come very close from the Drake neighborhood, like Good Park, Drake Park area. That is also a part of our boundaries. We're 100% free and reduced lunch school. We're 95% minority. And I think our last checkpoint here, we're about 23 plus languages spoken in our building at any given time. So we do house interpreters full-time in our building. Right now our most predominant language is Swahili, Somali, and Kunama. And we also have, a plethora of other languages, but those are the interpreters that we house in our building at any given time so that we're able to communicate effectively to meet the needs of our families.
Thank you. So each year we ask Rotarians to consider making a $50 gift, which is used to buy a Fairway gift card for a family with a student attending Edmonds Elementary. And this is my favorite part of our presentation, where Megan shares a story about a family that'll benefit from our club's generosity. And for their privacy, we always change their names. So I'm gonna let Megan tell you more about Fatima.
Yeah, I actually saw Fatima in her daughters last night. It's conferences week for us, so it's a really busy week. We had conferences late into the evening last night, and we'll do those again tonight. But I was able to chat with them a little bit last night, and it was good to see them. But Fatima arrived in Des Moines under a year ago, so this will be their first Thanksgiving here in the United States. She has 2 school-age daughters, and they fled from Afghanistan to come to the U.S. Their story is one of unimaginable hardship and remarkable strength. Fatima was taken from her village as a teenager. She was about 15 years old when she was stolen from the Taliban, from her family, and she endured years of violence, physical, emotional, mental health, before she was able to finally escape. The trauma left her permanently disabled. She has a disability that requires that she walk with a cane, as well as the emotional scars that have left, or that remain. But she has been so determined to build a better life for her and her girls. Today, they moved into a small apartment just across the street from us, and they have nothing, but to her they have everything. It's the first time that she has felt safe, but it doesn't quite feel like peace yet. She's still learning English. She's still trying to navigate an entirely new culture, doing it all on her own, with very limited income and no family or friends, no support system to lean on. It's just her and her girls. So despite the fact that she's in physical pain every day, she shows up with courage and gets her daughters to school and advocates for them and continues to hope for a brighter future for them.
I mean, if that doesn't give us all pause and some perspective, that's just really heartbreaking, but also uplifting in the way that she is being so resilient. So tell us what it's going to be like for Fatima and her girls to get one of these Fairway gift cards.
Well, it provides autonomy and it provides choice, and it's also an opportunity to create a first, right? We get to be a part of their first Thanksgiving and their first, even though it's our American tradition, it's a chance for them to incorporate that into their lives and to build that memory for them. And you know, they are relying on food stamps and on things where they wouldn't be able to go out and to purchase those extra things. So this is something that they can do with their, she can take her girls to the store and they can pick out and create some new traditions.
Fantastic. Well, every year I think I pledge an additional card. So this year I'm doing 3. I'm going to pledge $150 to purchase 3 cards. So I hope everyone in the room considers doing the same. I think Ganesh told me that he'd match me. Thanks, by the way. There is a flyer on your table. And on that flyer, there's a reminder that the deadline to participate is Thursday, November 6th. And you'll receive an email update next week on our progress. And then President Tim will also provide an update at next week's meeting on how we're doing. Thanks so much, everyone.
We really appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen and Megan. And thanks, Colleen, for always leading this effort every year. It's one of the good things that we do in this club. So, moving on to another good thing we do in this club. Today we are excited to introduce one of our newer members, Rob Doll, sitting at the head table here, and we're going to learn some facts about Rob. So, Rob, you can either stay seated or sit up here and let us, stare at you the whole time. So, stay seated there. Good choice. Rob was born and raised in the corncob pipe capital of the world, Washington, Missouri, near St. Louis. Is that right? Okay. After graduating from Truman State University, where he met his future wife Jenny, he moved to West Des Moines and began a career at Principal Financial, which supported his pursuit of an MBA from the University of Iowa, go Hawks, and the Chartered Financial Analyst designation. Rob is currently a bond portfolio manager at Principal Asset Management and was sponsored by Scott Bennett, who he worked alongside for 16 years, you said? Okay. So we've asked, as we always do, we're asked Rob a few questions. You've got a free day, what would we find you doing? And Rob says, the perfect day would find me on a bike ride in the morning, paddle boarding in the afternoon, and then going to a concert with his wife in the evening. Sounds like a good day. Where in the world have you traveled to and can't wait to go back? Rob has been to Sydney, Australia twice on business, but as he says, was not able to spend much personal time while he was there. So he'd love to go back to Australia and spend 2 weeks exploring the country, which, as you suggest, is a long ways away. So 2 weeks is probably at least a good amount of time with that flight. What's the best piece of advice you ever given? Rob says, don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone and try something new. You never know what opportunities or developments may come out of trying something new. Not every experience will be great, but you'll learn something from every experience. I think that's well taken. What talent or skill do you possess that might surprise or delight people? Rob is a drummer and has recently taken up learning to play bass guitar. So maybe we'll hire you for the Christmas concert. So Rob, the last question you get to answer from the microphone, but you're joining Rotary. What can't you wait to tell your friends and family about our organization? So.
Well, first of all, this falls in the great experience category of things I'm trying. So really, I'd say there's 2 things. One of them I knew before I joined, as Tim mentioned, sat next to my sponsor, Scott Bennett, for years. Scott, every Thursday you come back and we talk about what were the speakers, what did you learn about it at Rotary? And so coming in, I knew about the breadth, the quality, diversity of speakers that we had here. What I didn't appreciate and realize until I came to the first meeting, and it continues through today, is that the welcoming nature, the diversity of backgrounds of all the membership, and just how great the membership is. And it's very, very friendly, very welcoming. I've had a chance to sit with a number of you. I try and sit at a different table every week just to meet people. A lot of people still to meet, but it's been absolutely great and really happy to be a member of the club.
Great, thanks. Well. Thank you, Rob. Welcome, and we hope you get a chance to meet everyone and get to know everyone in the club. That was good. That's much better volume this week, right? Everyone's favorite segment, Rotary Law and Disorder, where I provide some insight on a usually past lawsuit or something else that's happened in the legal community that gives us a chuckle. So for this one, we go back to the 1990s, which my son calls the 19s. And actually, it's a case I remember studying in law school, because while it's a ridiculous case, it actually touches on some contract legal principles. But it's Leonard versus PepsiCo, and I thought of this case because I saw the stories about the NFL hiring Bad Bunny. I think this was a Super Bowl commercial, so I remembered about it. But it was a federal court case in New York. And in 1996, Pepsi, trying to outdo Coke and draw in the younger Pepsi generation, as they called it, launched a promotional loyalty program. And it was basically, if you bought a pack of Pepsi, you got a Pepsi point, right? You got a little thing on the back of the cardboard you could peel off and send in. And you could also purchase Pepsi points from Pepsi. So they had this commercial of this nice, trendy young high school teenager, and they show that you could buy a Pepsi T-shirt for 50 Pepsi points, and sunglasses for 175 Pepsi points, and a leather jacket for 1,400 Pepsi points. And then the commercial ends, some of you might remember this, with a Harrier jet landing in the front of the school and the kid getting out and saying underneath it, 7 million Pepsi points. Well, in steps John Leonard. John Leonard thought, hey, I want a Harrier jet. He looked at the fine print and realized that instead of going out and buying all these Pepsi packs, you could buy Pepsi points from Pepsi directly for 10 cents a piece. So in probably what wasn't called private equity yet, but John Leonard went out and found 5 investors to give him $700,000. And he presented the check to Pepsi and said, I want my Harrier jet. Pepsi immediately changed the commercial to say 700 million Pepsi points, which I thought was an interesting approach. I would have just taken the commercial down at that point you can raise the money, right, to try and get 700 million. But they rejected his request and Leonard sued. Now, there's quite a bit of actual legal principles like offer and acceptance and the statute of frauds and all of that, but I appreciated the quotes from the judge who ultimately dismissed the case, saying the callow youth featured in the commercial is a highly improbable pilot one who could barely be trusted with the keys to his parents' car, much less the prize aircraft of the United States Marine Corps. And in granting summary judgment, she held no objective person could reasonably have concluded that the commercial actually offered consumers a Harrier jet. So, John Leonard did not get his Harrier jet, but I don't think Pepsi ever had a commercial or a campaign like that after that. So, with that, it is time for our speaker and our program committee chair, Graham Gillette, who's doing a great job. Will now introduce our speaker. Graham?
Tim called me on the way home from Minnesota some time ago and asked me to be chair of the program committee, and I was in a great mood, and I said yes. Music was chair at the time, so it's going to be easy, and it is easy, it's fun. But I just put a plug in for the program chair. We're filling up spots for next year, and we have had a great run of speakers thanks to Dave's leadership last year, and we're pulling through this year. But think about who we can have come speak to this club. We've had a lot of CEOs. We're going to have a great one today. But think about programs that go on in this community. There may be somebody that's running a great program that's not the CEO of an organization that fits in and can tell a great story. So think about somebody that tells a story, send me an email, and we'll fill up those dates. As chair of the program committee, every once in a while we have a little snafu, and we had an opening up here this week, and I called Proctor, who many of you know, over at Broadlawns, and we were talking about other Broadlawns things, and I said, I've got this thing, who can we have coming? He goes, well, you call Kim Perez, of course, over at the Botanical Garden. And he was right. It's been a while since Kim was here, but it's my pleasure to introduce Kim Perez. As many of you know, she's president and CEO of the Greater Des Moines Botanical Garden. An Iowa native, Kim returned home in 2021 to lead one of our nation's most beloved civic treasures. It's a vibrant 12-acre public garden that inspires curiosity, creativity, and connection with the natural world. Since her arrival, she has not only strengthened the garden's community focus, but also guided an extraordinary era of growth and renewal at the garden. As a member of the garden's board, I had the honor of serving on the search committee that recommended Kim's hiring. She impressed me then, but it's fair to say that she has far surpassed even our highest expectations. Under Kim's leadership, the Botanical Garden has blossomed, literally and figuratively. In 2021, she launched the Pineapple Program and began stewarding the Robert D. Ray Asian Garden. The following year brought the Founders Garden and Rain Garden. In 2023 came the Plant Pet Program, the Nature Play Area, and the start of a major HVAC and geothermal project. Maybe not the most exciting thing for most of you, but a great and necessary thing for the garden. In 2024, Kim completed the infrastructure project, opened Flora Cafe, launched the festive Dome for the holidays, which I hope all of you attend this year, and began the Welcome, Gather, Grow campaign. And this year, 2025, she has already led the completion of the Gardener's Show House, renovated the veranda and private event spaces, which he's trying to convince my daughter to have a wedding there, and exceeded the capital campaign's goal. And I'm going to let her tell you about the capital campaign a little more. But before joining the Botanical Garden, Kim led several highly respected nonprofit and social service organizations, including the Cradle in Illinois and the People's Resource Center. She holds a master's degree in social work from Loyola University in Chicago and a bachelor's degree from the University of Iowa. I'll leave by saying this. The best leaders motivate others to join their cause, to feel ownership in something larger than themselves. And Kim does exactly that. She invites visitors, volunteers, donors, and the entire community to see the garden as our garden, inspiring all of us to help it grow, bloom, and flourish as never before. Welcome, Kim Perez.
It's not fair when you get a little teary when somebody introduces you. That was so kind. Thank you. I'm so happy to be back with so many of you. I see a lot of friendly faces in the room. So my intention today is to show you what we're doing at the Botanical Garden. I brought a bunch of images. I think I've turned this on properly, but I start every talk I do by reminding those of you listening to me what the history of this place that I have come to love so much has been. So in 1979, we are nearing our 50th anniversary. We opened as the Dome that we know, but as the Des Moines Botanical Center, part of Des Moines Parks and Rec, municipally operated and owned, and we did so in that way for a lot of years. Des Moines Waterworks stepped in. I see my friend Ted, and took over after having the Botanical Center operate for quite a number of years. And then in the early 2010s, we became the Greater Des Moines Botanical Garden when we opened up the outdoor garden. So this is your before times. You can see Robert D. Ray Drive down there on the right-hand side of your screen. And when the city council decided, let's close down Robert D. Ray Drive, it provided space to open the first 7 acres of outdoor gardens in 2013. Since these outdoor gardens were opened, we have been known as the Greater Des Moines Botanical Garden. I'm not offended when I hear people say the Botanical Center, but in fact you're wrong. We are not the Botanical Center. So it's just a nice reminder to just update a little bit of the lingo around. We've since grown a lot more, and Graham mentioned some of that, and I'll share some images of how we've grown. Not just physically in terms of our footprint, but also programmatically. Today's footprint is actually 12 acres. We've got about 6, a little less than 6 still to go to the north. Our footprint starts in the upper right-hand corner at the Women of Achievement Bridge and goes all the way north to the University Avenue Bridge, which you can't see. There's 5 acres down here toward me, right? So we've grown a ton. There's a lot to see. I literally bumped into someone who was walking through the domed conservatory yesterday, and she pointed outside and she said, I see some people walking out here. There seems to be some water. What are they doing? And I said, well, they're enjoying the outdoor gardens. She said, you have outdoor gardens? I said, yes, where are you from? And she said, here in Des Moines. This is our reality. A lot of people don't know how we've changed over the years. And so this is why I always start my talks with these reminders, right? If you haven't visited, come and visit, because there's a lot of new things to see. So oh my goodness. Okay, so some of our updates. We're serving nearly 150,000 visitors a year. Those visitors, because I see a lot of business people in the room, they're coming from all 99 counties in Iowa, all 50 states in our nation, and more than 25 international destinations every year. And these numbers are growing pretty significantly. We're very proud of that. Garden tourism is actually a thing. There are conferences across the country that talk about garden tourism. And a lot of those international visitors, yes, are coming here because they're attending an insurance conference or something like that, but a lot of people are coming to tour other gardens, and we're happy to be on their radar. Programmatically, we do a lot. So there are numbers on this screen. I am not going to teach you every one of these numbers, but I'm going to highlight a couple of things, partly because of the first messages we heard this afternoon. In 2021, right after I got there, you heard I'm a social worker. It matters to me that we can break down barriers so that people can access the programs that are available in our community. And so we launched a program that we call the Pineapple Program. Pineapple represents a welcoming environment, so that you've got some context there. The Pineapple Program offers free daily admission to anyone who qualifies for free reduced lunch, SNAP benefits, WIC programs, etc. They show that benefits card, and they can come in for daily admission any day that we're open. If they live in Iowa, we will actually give them a free annual membership. We want the community to enjoy what we have to offer, including forest bathing sometimes. So our numbers are growing from a programming perspective. The other thing that we're doing very differently is we're thinking about what we have uniquely to offer here in the community, here in central Iowa. Not many places have tropical palm trees, right? And warm, humid environments in the middle of January. Well, we do. So how can we make sure that we lean into that? And some of what we've done is create some non-daily admission based experiences. Dome for the Holidays is one, it's coming up. This month we have rebranded ourselves as the Greater Des Moines Botanical Garden. I know. In fact, the next week and a half we've got Halloween themed events happening for all age groups. 21 and up has different events. This coming Saturday, if you've got littles in your life, come on over for Trick or Trees, a non-spooky Halloween event, all kinds of really fun stuff happening. All next week we have Eerie Evenings. the whole point here is we're trying to engage more people. And we're seeing that actually happen in these numbers, the greatest numbers ever in our events, in our event attendance. So just a few images to bring to life what the Botanical Garden has to offer, all in our lovely environment. I keep hitting that too hard apparently. Okay, so part of what makes our community special is that there are so many people who want to give back. You've talked about that today, which I really admire. There are so many ways that people want to be engaged. And when I first started at the Botanical Garden, we had about 150, 200 volunteers. That was in 2021. Last year, at the end, by June 30th last year, we had 649 active volunteers. That's huge for us. Our workforce is 32 full-time people. And so to be able to have 650 people who are helping us helps us keep our costs down, be very engaged in terms of community membership and engagement. But I'll give you an example from today. I literally was sitting in my office and heard a big kind of cheer, walked outside. There was a group from Wellaby that came and volunteered, and in 45, well, maybe not 45 minutes, in 45 less minutes than was planned, they planted 4,000 bulbs. That was all volunteers. We could not do that, right? There's just so many ways that we're able to engage with our community, and that's so meaningful. It helps us also be a part of the kind of regional systemic arts and culture community and ecosystem, and that volunteerism is helping us kind of share the word of what we're doing, what other ways that folks and businesses can get involved in what we're doing. So that 3,000, 4,000 bulbs that we talked about today, that's some of the 17,000 that are planted every year. We have nearly 3,500 different plant species in the indoor and outdoor garden spaces combined. See, I don't know why that keeps happening. The other thing that we're really excited about is the number of youth that we're engaging in our work. So we've been doing field trips for years. In fact, a lot of people say, I haven't been to the Botanical Center since my 4th grade field trip. Fine, great, come on back, we've got a lot of changes. But we want to bring those kids back as often as we can. One of the other things that we're doing to reach new audiences is we've got a program that we call the Plant Pet program, where we're taking our show on the road into classrooms. But we're not doing that with humans, we're doing that with curriculum that's built, ready to go lesson plans for teachers, kits with plants. They can be in classrooms, they can be in art classes, any of those things, and ready to go instruction, curriculum, lessons, etc., and all kinds of video support for the educators. So this is a program that we've been leaning into, started it in 2022, and it's grown significantly. We've reached over 10,000 kids with this program already. The other thing that I'm really excited to be back here to talk about is Nature Play, because it wouldn't have been possible without this club. Thank you again for your generous contribution to making Nature Play possible. We opened this in October of 2023, thanks to your very generous grant. And since then, it has become a major draw for so many kids. It's part of our field trip programs, our discovery tours. We literally have a new volunteer role called Play Ranger. And they go outside and they make sure that the kids know what they can do, how to enjoy and engage in the space. So here are some images. We're adding a few raised beds next season. We've got all kinds of other programming planned for these spaces. Actually just got a grant from Variety Club, or Variety, a children's charity, to add some raised beds and more accessible additions to Nature Play as well. So keeping that going is something that we're committed to. Some of the ways that we've been able to raise our profile is literally by lighting our dome outside. So since July of 2024, we had a custom light display placed on the dome, and we're no longer invisible, literally, after dark. It makes a huge difference, partly in our programming, partly in our accessibility, but it's a big part of what we've been doing in terms of leaning into what we have to offer that's unique in our community. And so Dome for the Holidays is one of those things we launched last year. We started this program because people have asked for years, what do you do around the holidays? What can I come and experience at the Botanical Garden? And up until last year, the answer was nothing. We put out some amaryllis. They're beautiful. You can come and see them, right? There was not much going on. So we launched this program. Our team fully designed everything themselves. We planned for 5,400 visitors. We transformed the inside of the conservatory to something that is really amazing. And the community responded. Last year we had not 5,400 visitors, but 22,000 people came in 6 weeks to Dome for the Holidays. And so we're really excited to enter our second year. It launches on November 14th, and we're really, really pumped about this. Oh my goodness, seriously. The other thing that we've been really busy with is a capital campaign that we launched in April of 2024. I am not here to make an ask because officially we have closed the campaign, and we've done so in really spectacular ways. We set out for a 2-year campaign 18 months after we launched. We actually had raised the goal once. We started off with an $8 million campaign, raised it to 6 months later. And just a week and a half ago, I was proud to announce that we've raised over $9.6 million, which is wonderful. So some of the work is already done. Some of it so you see some pictures from May of 2025 here. This is the greenhouse that's open to the public. You can see why we needed to renovate. There was very little sunlight getting to those plants. And so that obviously is counter to our mission. And so we've been able to execute these updates, and this space is, for the most part, reopened to the public, and we're really pleased with how it's turned out. It's really beautiful and fantastic. The other updates that we've also just recently reopened are in our private meeting spaces. We got some of those renovations completed early as a first stage of our construction projects for the capital campaign. So this April 2024 rendering from when we launched the campaign. And then here is the in construction version of the real life new floor on September 30th. We've renamed our spaces to be a little bit more mission aligned. Welcome to the Evergreen Gallery and some of the other rooms that are plant-based names. We have a bridal suite now. We have a really beautiful space that overlooks the stunning backdrop that is the Botanical Garden. And you just, we don't need much to make these rooms beautiful because we've got the palette outside, and that's what we wanted to deliver to our community. And so we're so happy to have these renovations done. We still have 2 more years of construction projects planned that are fully funded by the Welcome, Gather, Grow campaign. So this is a rendering of our new renovated and expanded lobby. We will be working toward these new construction projects over the next couple of years. Since we're redoing a lobby and a main entrance, we have to actually construct a temporary entrance. And so that project will begin in March of 2026. And then by early 2028, we believe that this space will be reopened with new connected gardens from the main lobby, new access into our cafe from the main lobby, very basic things you would think would be possible, but they're not possible today. The other thing that we're going to be doing is trying to help our community find us a little bit easier. Make the entry into the Botanical Garden a little bit more beautiful, better first impression. This is on the south side of the I-235 bridge. This rendering is on Robert D. Wright Drive between that Asian pagoda that you see on the river and the I-235 bridge. And so this is also a rendering of our vision of what that new space will look like. So we expect all of these to be done in parts and pieces by early 2028 at the latest, and we're just super excited by the response that the community has had to what we're doing. Thanks for inviting me back. I'm super happy to be here and would be happy to address any questions that you might have. Yes, so I serve as a member of the Downtown Design Committee for Icon Water Trails. The question was, any collaboration with Icon Water Trails? it's gonna be on our front door, right on our front doorstep. And so, a couple years ago, I joined the Downtown Design Committee to be a part of those discussions. The trails planning that's happening right outside the Botanical Garden has been somewhat delayed a bit based on some of the other projects that they had some timing requirements needing to be fulfilled. And so, since so much has changed since the original I think it's called the master plan for Icon Water Trails, they're going to be reconvening a group of us that are really in that space. I'm guessing Rich Leopold is going to be there, right? Several of us around the community who have established organizations or established experiences already along the riverfront. Stephanie Apple will be reconvening us soon, and we'll start to kind of update those plans. But we're at the table for those, super excited about it, and it really is good for us at the garden because it ties into the fact that, remember I mentioned, we've still got 5.5, 6 acres to our north still to develop, and so we want that to be very collaborative. We want to be a part of that. If it can align, why wouldn't it? That needs, right, we want it to make sense, be good stewards of all the community's resources in ways that I think we can figure out how to do very well. So, more to come. Yeah. Yes?
You've got the 5 acres to the north.
We do.
What's the grand plan for those?
Well, so there is a master plan that the board approved actually before I arrived at the Botanical Garden. Some of those plans include really important interaction with the John Pat Dorian Bike Trail, for instance. So part of the vision would be, how can we create like a riverfront cafe experience right there that allows people on the bike trail in that spot to maybe take a load off, enjoy the Botanical Garden, grab a beer, you know, who knows, right? So that's part of that vision. The other thing is the geography of that land goes up. There's a good solid area of trees in that part. Our master plan includes kind of going up into that canopy and creating an experience that would allow one to be up higher, see a really beautiful view of the downtown skyline. I think that part of the, to respond to the question before that, is how do we make sure that that master plan remains relevant in the community today? We don't want to necessarily just assume that that's all gonna be what we want to implement over time, right? So I think we'll need to do a little bit of refresh on that, but I think in the spirit of collaborating with the riverfront, knowing Icon's right there, the bike trail, which we know is so popular and important, how can we lean into some of those areas? That I think remains a very static priority. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, Tim?
Yes.
I was raised my hand. I want to ask.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to ask
We
you a
got time.
question. Okay.
Please.
First of all, Kim, thank you for your leadership.
Oh, thank you.
Of the Botanical Garden, Elvisville State Center. 30 minutes ago, we heard about this young family from Afghanistan at Edmonds. This is a leading question. What would you think of inviting some of those girls and the mom and some of their friends for a special tour?
Yep.
Would you do that?
So just to repeat the question, I think I was asked to do that. The question was, how can we connect the Edmonds, Fatima, right? The family from the school that we heard about earlier and the Botanical Garden. And the question was, would we be willing to invite that family and some friends of those girls over to the Botanical Garden? Yes, 100% yes. But here's the other thing I want to point out. Remember I talked about that pineapple program. That family that you all heard about is the reason that we have that program. They don't need a special tour. They can come any day of the week, any day we're open, and show their benefits card, and they will get in for free. So they don't need the pressure of a tour that they might not understand because they don't speak the language. They can come and find plants that they might have found, you know, that they might be familiar with from Afghanistan at the Botanical Garden. They can come and do that any day. But yes, we would do something more structured should they want that, and we do that literally. There was a preschool class when I left today that was doing stuff in our botany lab with our education team. The answer is yes, we want the community to come and experience it. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Kim, for spending time with the Rotary Club of Des Moines today. We appreciate your presentation, especially at the last minute, getting us out of a little bit of a jam. And thanks to your team for making the Greater Des Moines Botanical Garden, or the Botanical Center, however you want to call it, one of the highlights of our community. We appreciate that. All right, we have slides for upcoming. Yeah, there's our rant. There we go. Upcoming meetings. Again, reminder: if you have anyone in your circle that you'd like to invite, either as a prospective member or a guest that would be interested, please do so. October 30th, Mary Wells from the Polk County Treasurer's Office will be here to fill us in on what's going on at her office. November 6th, Mark Nook, the president of the University of Northern Iowa, will be here. And then on November 13th, we can't meet here at the Embassy Club. You'll see more, of course, reminders about this coming up. But we are going to do fellowship meetings for the first time this year during that week. So the signups for fellowship meetings will be out soon. Reminder: it's a great way to show off your business if we're still looking for volunteers to do so. So look out for those announcements from Kitty in the office. And then again, a couple more reminders for the upcoming fuel events. Michael Wolnerman on Tuesday, October 28th, so next week. And then Susan Judkins on November 18th. A reminder: the fellowship is free and the coffee is on you. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you all for being a vital part of our club. Thank you to our guests. And officially welcome to Rob Dowell again. Appreciate you being a member of our club. Stay true to the good, and we are adjourned.